Are you thinking about retiring? Making a move? Making some changes in your life? Or even taking another job somewhere out of state or out of your own home country? If so, don't let a damn grandfather clock block your way.
A grandfather clock is blocking the way. First, they must remove it.
Now, it's basically the philosophy of not letting material possessions affect your life's decisions. Basically, I'm going to have a little informal talk. A lot of y'all who watch our show are thinking about retiring. You're dreaming about leaving your home country. Most of you, not all of you. Most of our viewers are from the U.S. and you're thinking about leaving America and moving to a place like the Philippines or Thailand or Southeast Asia, other places, right? And you've got 30 years, 40 years worth of accumulated personal possessions. I call it junk because that's how I perceive stuff when they're not serving a purpose. You got 30 years worth of junk. That's all it is junk. It's only valuable to you. And maybe in this video, I'm going to sort of change your mind about how valuable it really is. My quick story, when I made the decision to leave the United States, I was married to a Thai girl. I said, okay, the stars have aligned. At some point, I'm moving to Thailand. We are going to move to Thailand. But the stars align, and I asked her the question, do you want to stay in the United States or do you want to move to Thailand? I'm good either way, but we could have stayed in the States longer and eventually moved to Thailand, or we could have done it then. And so I wanted her input. She said, look, I like the United States. We have great times here. I like it here, but I miss my family. If you want to know the truth, I want to go home. I miss my family, my culture, the food. I said, boom, it's done. We're moving to Thailand. We're moving. We're not waiting. Well, I had already sort of made the decision in my mind, and I had a 2-year plan where I still had some stuff to do in the States. But in my mind, I was already implementing part of the plan, which was get rid of my junk. I had a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house filled with junk. That's what we do in America. We accumulate so much junk, we have to buy a bigger house to put the junk in. Then you move into the bigger house and you accumulate more crap. Now you got to get a bigger house, bigger mortgage, bigger electric bill. Why? To accommodate junk. Think about it. I had a 4-bedroom house. Most of the time I was the only person living there. 3 bedrooms, doing nothing. So anyhow, it took me 2 years. 2 years of a slow and steady roll of giving my possessions away because I'm not a salesman. The only things I did sell, and I sold them on the cheap, I sold my guns because it's easy to sell guns and I wanted to put them in the right hands, so I sold them to my buddies for cheap. Everything else, it took me 2 years to liquidate. I gave away the whole bedroom suits, china cabinets, all that stuff that I had accumulated that I thought had value. Start trying to sell that crap. It ain't worth nothing. It ain't worth the time to run the ad on, what's it called, Craigslist or whatever it is, and deal with people coming over offering you pennies. So my solution was to give it away. I had a van. I would pull up at somebody's house and just give them a whole van full of stuff. The stuff that I couldn't give away to people during those 2 years, I took to Goodwill. There was some stuff that Goodwill rejected, which they rejected. They tried to reject, or they did reject my one love seat. It sort of hurt my feelings. Well, ain't nothing wrong with this love seat, man. This thing's a champion. Oh, sir, that's junk. Anyhow, the stuff that Goodwill wouldn't take, took straight to the dump. I could have done it a lot quicker if I had got more brutal about it. Now, I had the time. So I had that 2-year window. At the end of 2 years, I was done. I accomplished my goal. And basically everything that I own, my personal possessions, fit in a couple suitcases. I did not go the storage locker route. And I recommend that you, if you're going to move out of your home country and live as an expat and go marry some girl, say in the Philippines, don't keep storage lockers. It's not a good idea. I'm going to tell you why. And that was not my model. My model was to get rid of everything, come to Thailand with 2 suitcases. And that's what I did. I still own some properties. I had to get rid of those through time. And so what do I have in the United States? Really nothing, which is a good thing. All right, so let's talk about storage lockers. You're thinking, I'm going to get rid of most of my stuff. I just keep 2 storage lockers, all my good stuff. Why? Let's say you're paying $100 per month on this stuff that you put in storage. And you move to the Philippines. After 1 year, you wasted $1,200 on that stuff. Okay, so what happens is your investment on this junk every year keeps going up and up and up, while the value of your shit keeps going down and down and down and down. Okay, because unless you've got, issue 1 of some comic book that's worth $1 million, everything in there is getting older. It's getting eat on by the rats or moisture or water damage or just dust. It's getting older and older. The plastic's getting brittle. The items in that storage locker value are doing this. Meanwhile, every month you're giving them $100, and I know that's being conservative, right? But I just use $100, a nice round number. Every year it's going up. So after 3 years, how much is that worth? $3,600 after 3 years. Is the junk that sat in a storage locker for 3 years worth $3,600? No. It's absolutely not. But I got some good tools I got them from Sears, Craftsman. They got a lifetime warranty. That's $8,000 worth of tools. No, it's not. It's only worth $8,000 in your mind. It might have been worth $8,000 brand new back in 1978 when you bought them, but now they're worth nothing. Okay? There's so much gear and junk and used crap and just shit out there on the market that those tools you think are worth $8,000 aren't worth nothing. You can go down to the pawn shop and buy the equivalent of what you got for a few $100. The perceived value only exists in your mind. And meanwhile, you're just throwing money down a hole every month, every year that you pay on that storage locker. And the way it always ends is in 4, 5, 6 years, you're like, man, I gotta go back and clean up that damn storage locker. You don't want to admit defeat, but you got it. You go back, the rats have eaten half the stuff. It's not worth anything. You end up throwing half in the dumpster and you're like, damn, why the hell did I keep all this shit? I could have had $5,000 in my pocket right now. Yep, exactly. But a lot of y'all do it, and you are doing it. My buddy, I don't know how many years he kept his 2 storage lockers full of crap. He had carpets from Turkey and all this good stuff. And exactly like I said, no, I'm not making all this stuff up. This is from real life. He went back and it had a bunch of damage from rats eating the crap and pooping all over it. And it was just ruined. It wasn't worth anything. And he was out, I don't know, 10 years of paying on those 2 lockers. A lot of money to go back and have to break your back and put that shit in the dumpster. Get rid of it before you leave your home country. Okay? Are there some exceptions? I guess, but there's leave them with a trusted relative. That way, you're not racking up money, and chances are you're just going to give it to them and never come back for the shit anyhow. Now you don't have to come back and clean out a locker. So I'm not big on storage lockers. Now, I'm going to go to a comment that one of y'all left. I'm going to read the comment here, if I can get it pulled up. And I get comments like this all the time, but this one's recent. And it just talks about exactly what I'm talking about. And so I'm going to use your comment. Let's see, All Day Daydreamer. How you doing, my friend? I'm going to use your comment here. So, I will have roughly $3,000 a month, US dollars, to live on when I move back to Metro Manila in 2025. I also have the $10K set aside for retirement visa while in the PI. Have to keep in the bank full time. The one thing I do not want to do is sell my 4,000 plus record collection or my comic book collection I've had since I was 15. But it's a good time to sell all this crap. Can't take it with me if I die. I visited the PI for the very first time in early summer of 2024. I decided the second month living there, it was going to be my new home. So after 4 months, I returned to the States and have been slowly selling off my life. Okay, so let me start and just talk about a couple things in the first part of his comment. Comic book collection and a record collection. All right, stuff like that, I understand it can be very hard to part with. It's something that you've had your whole life, holds a lot of sentimental value. You know, you may not recall all of them, but you know, you pick up a record or a comic book, you might be able to recall exactly when you got that particular comic book, and therefore it brings back memories. I get it. I understand it. But if you want to sit there in your house in America, petting your Labrador, surrounded by your comic books and your record collection, and continue to live that life, probably alone. If you're, over the age of 40 in the U.S., you're probably alone, paying child support, or mixing apples and oranges. You're probably alone, petting your Labrador, right? And you can surround yourself with those things that make you feel safe and comfortable and familiar, but they can't take the place of human companionship, being around people, having a girlfriend, being able to have somebody to talk to. And if you're in that position where you can't find a girlfriend in the States and you're looking abroad, wherever it may be, every day that you're not with the love of your life, you're just being robbed of time. Because those comic books and those records and your 1972 Corvette sitting in the garage in mint condition, those are just inanimate objects. They're cold, lifeless, inanimate objects that are anchors preventing you from actually living life. What do I consider living life? Okay. Number one, having some women running around. Okay. I got women running around. I got kids running around. I'm not telling you you have to go out and have kids to be happy. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you my happiness. I got women running around. I got kids running around. I got the barbecue grill, the smell of smoke, smell of pork chops or chicken, a little country music on the box, a nice cigar, everybody eating, laughing, conversing, going to the beach with the same crew of people. No inanimate object, no matter how sentimental or collectible or how much it's worth, can take the place of that. Okay, it just can't. If somebody tried to give me a brand new Mercedes today, it just doesn't register any value in my mind. It would actually register as a liability. Oh, damn, now I gotta pay insurance on this son of a bitch. Where am I gonna park it? I put gas in it, geez. Anybody out there, please don't ever gift me a Mercedes Benz. And nothing against Mercedes, okay? I used to have one, guaranteed to break down every time I left the driveway. Never buy a used German car. Or you'll spend all your money trying to fix it. Worse than a Chrysler. It's all about perceived value. Now, if somebody showed up with the keys to a Toyota Hilux or a pickup truck or something like that, well, that would have a little bit of value. Now I can cart everybody around. I can cart everybody from the village around. It has value, but I would still sort of look at it as a liability because I can just take public transportation. I can pay trike drivers. You see how things work, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Again, if you would rather have that Corvette that you've had for years sitting in the garage, you can go out there and sit in that thing, listen to music, talk to it. It can't barbecue with you. It can't give you a hug. And if you've got a girlfriend outside the country that you could be with, or in another state or wherever, and you're letting these things hold you back, it doesn't make sense to me, okay? Can't take it with me if I die. That's a good point. We can't take anything with us when we die. We come into this world butt-ass naked with nothing. That's the way we're going to go out. Might be wearing a nice suit or a cheap suit, depending on how much money you got in that casket. Okay, so this gentleman says, slowly selling off my life. Even if shit hits the fan, I'll tough it out and remain. I hate the thought of bar girls as my source of companionship, so I've never been the guy to go and drink at those types of bars. It's just as easy to find a good woman off the dating websites, and I did. Okay, good for you, my friend. So many people, so many dudes make the mistake of going out, being a 2-week millionaire somewhere, falling in love with the first girl they see on the pole, and then thinking that's their girlfriend and now they want to marry her. Does it work out? Yeah, sometimes it does, but the odds are stacked against you. So my best advice is don't fall in love or marry strippers, hookers, bar girls, freelancers. All right, let's try to stay on topic here. Talking about possessions. I'm in love with being about to cut all my bills down to 1/3 by living in the Philippines. I also get to liquidate all the crap I have now. The one thing I am going to do is not sell my truck. I'm going to mothball it in case I have to come back to the States. All right, now in the past, I would say that's a bad idea, okay? Because in the past, before the world went mad and prices went absolutely out of whack, I don't think it was a good idea to keep your vehicle there, because the longer the vehicle sits, the more things are going to start to go down. You're going to come back, it's sitting on 4 flats. Now you got to go buy a new battery, new tires, all this shit right if the thing sits up. The vehicle is much better if it's utilized every day instead of sitting up. Same with a boat, trust me. Damn, if you got a boat, run that sumbitch every day. You let it sit up for one winter, it'll never be the same. And then you got to pay storage, you got to worry about being vandalized, you got to keep the insurance up, the tag. For the most part, I would say no, because a guy like me, I've only been back to the States, 3 times in over a decade. It's just easy to rent a car for those short trips. Okay, now think about this. How much is a rental car? Let's just say $100 a day. It's give or take, right? If we use a nice round number, $100 a day, I can sit here, or if even if it's $150 a day, I can budget in my mind exactly how much money I'm going to spend on a vehicle while I'm back in America. Almost to the T, other than gas money. When I rent a car, I get all the damn insurance I can. I put it on a credit card with the most insurance. That thing is insured to the hilt. You know why? Because when I go to the States, I'm there to handle business, visit who I got to visit, and I want to make my return flight back to my kids. That's the most important thing to me. My most important thing to me, if I go to the States or anywhere, is when am I getting back to the kids? So the rental car, I know that the thing's gonna run, it's brand new, it's not gonna break down. If it breaks down, I'm not out any additional money. Okay, they're gonna come pick that damn thing up and give me a new one, right on the side of the road. And when it's over, I hand them those keys and I grab my suitcases and I walk and go check myself in for my flight. It's over. I wash my hands of it. I don't gotta vacuum the thing out. I don't gotta winterize it, put it up on blocks, get a ride from the storage facility to the airport. Hell no. I roll up in that airport, get my shit, here you go. Take your car, I'm done with you. And it's one fee. Is it cheap? No, but it's certain. It's something you can budget for. I'm in, I pay this money, I'm out. What if you got your own car, it's been sitting up for a year, you get back, every damn tire's flat, dry rot, now I'm out of tires. Try to get it to crank, the damn thing won't crank. Now you gotta go buy a new battery. Oh shit, the starter's frozen up. 9 things are wrong with it. Rats got in there, ate the wiring. Now you're playing mechanic for the first few days that you return to the States, spending money that you haven't budgeted. And if you do get that damn thing running, now you're going down the road. Again, it's been sitting up for a year. Then boom, seal on the transmission goes out, you're on the side of the road. Do you want to spend the 2 weeks that you budgeted handling business and visiting people back in the States? You're going to spend that 2 weeks trying to get an old car fixed? That's not what I want to do. So in my opinion, it's a bad idea to keep a car back in America. With that said, I understand the price of cars went up. They're out of whack. They're not cheap like they used to be. Because back in the day, I say, if you're going to spend a couple months, just buy a car, drive it around, sell it. I'm like a 2-week type person if I have to go back there. See my people, get my business done, get the hell out, rental car. That's my advice to you. You're paying storage, insurance, maintenance. You could just wipe that out, put that in a fund to rent a car. That's my advice. But everybody's got their own way of doing things, okay? Just sold my 2008 Hayabusa, I don't know how to say that. That's a motorcycle, right? For $7,500 that has 8,000 miles on it. So much more to do. I grew up very poor. We had roaches, not enough food, and I remember a lot of hand-me-down clothes, dishes that didn't match, and a single mother with 4 kids she could barely take care of. I will have no problem readjusting to eating rice off a banana leaf if it comes down to it. Money-wise, I'll be in very good shape. I love your content because it's a great last chapter of my life situation. A situation where I can reduce the stress of crime, politics, absolutely high cost of living, and maybe earn myself a few more years of living when I make the move. I do plan on flying and visiting Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, etc., and can easily afford those destinations and have a great time doing so. Okay. The sooner, once you get set up financial wise, right, where you retire, you got your Social Security checked in, what whatever you've got kicked in to where your finances are there and you're ready or capable, you have the capability to make that move, what are you waiting on? At that point, there's no excuse. Okay? Boom, I got $3,000 a month income. I don't have any bills here. I don't owe anybody here. I want to move. What are you waiting on? That's my question. The material possessions, you can get rid of that shit quickly if you get aggressive with it. You gotta, what's the saying? You gotta break some eggs if you want to make an omelet. Looking back at my situation, see, I had a 2-year slow roll. But had I got everything lined up and the only thing I was waiting on was getting rid of my crap and turning the house over to a real estate agent, I could have done it pretty quick. And the way I took care of, like, you know, when I went room to room liquidating shit, I tossed back a few beers. Next thing you know, I'm putting shit in black contractor trash bags and it's out on the curb or it's in the van to go to the dump. And once you get rid of that shit, the next day you feel so liberated, and half of it you can't even remember what you got rid of and threw away. All right, so man, appreciate your comment, my friend. I can understand record collection, comic books. I got it. I had a small comic book collection when I was a kid. And one summer I was visiting my dad. I think my mother sold everything at a garage sale because she didn't know what the hell she was doing. She didn't know what she was selling, right? Either way, the comic books are gone. And like you said, you can't take it with you when you die. All right. Grandfather clock. I'll tell a story about a grandfather clock. Some of y'all are saddled with family heirlooms. What do you do with these family heirlooms, such as a big ass, beautiful, heavy, antique grandfather clock that's been handed down for generations, and now your kids don't want it, you're stuck with it, but you want to move, be with your new wife? Well, my buddy the J-Dog had the same situation with a grandfather clock. Every time he moved, he had to cart that grandfather clock. You know, you got to wrap it up so it doesn't get damaged. The damn thing doesn't even work because you got to pay people to come in and set those weights and crap. Half the time it would get set in the corner, half the time in the garage, but everywhere for years, he's dragging this damn grandfather clock around, right? Finally, he's about to move. He had a small, tiny storage locker. And once he filled that thing up, it was full. He's left with a bunch of items and this damn grandfather clock. What to do with it? Just fret it. Now, I might be off on a few of the facts of the years, but basically he said the person who crafted that grandfather clock was born in like 1890. He was born in the late 1800s. So he figured the damn thing was a 100-year-old clock at the time, maybe 80 years old, whatever it was. Been in his family, belonged to his grandfather, great-grandfather. Thing got some history. It's a piece of history. What do we do with it? None of his people want it. They don't want the damn thing. Hell no, don't bring that grandfather clock here. Finally, he breaks down after a few drinks, puts it on Craigslist. Listed for like $50, $75 because he's on a time crunch. He's got to get rid of it. This dude calls up, says, is that thing real? It's like, what do you mean? Yeah, it's real. The guy who fucking put it together was born in 1890. It's been in my family for generations. Well, sounds too cheap to be real. He's like, nah, just come on, man. Come over and check it out. So the guy comes over. He's checking it out. Still can't believe that it's real for $75. Well, it's probably made in China or something. He's like, no, man, I told you. He said, well, why are you only asking $50? He said, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, whether you give me $50 or not, I'm going to load that thing up in the back of your fucking truck. You're not leaving here without taking that grandfather clock. He said, man, I'm moving. That so much won't fit in my storage locker. You got to take it. The guy's like laughing. He said, okay, man, all right. Hey, shit, I'll give you $50 for it. Hell. Gave him $50, loaded that thing up. That dude was happy. Well, at the moment. My buddy's happy because he fucking finally got rid of that goddamn grandfather clock. And you know who cares about him doing that? Nobody. Because everybody who would give a shit about that clock is dead and gone. And nobody else living in the family wants that fucking grandfather clock to lug around. The dude who bought it is like a boat owner. You buy, the happiest day of a boat owner's life is the day he buys the boat and the day he sells the boat. So that fool that showed up and paid $50 for that goddamn grandfather clock, now he's anchored to that thing. That thing is an anchor. He's chained to the anchor. And the day that he gets rid of that grandfather clock will be like the day I sold my boat. Bittersweet, but it comes with a great, immense feeling of freedom. There you go. It's a story about a grandfather clock. So that grandfather clock that you're trying to figure out what to do with, that you think's worth all this money, it ain't worth shit. If it has any historical value, go give the damn thing to your local museum. They'll stick it over in the corner and nobody will ever look at it, and they'll eventually throw it in the fucking dumpster. I want to move, but what am I going to do with all my guns? And I wrote Corvette baseball cards. What about my decorative garden gnomes? I've had them things for years. My collection of insert junk here. Whatever you're using as an excuse. Number one, if you want to try to get some money, put that shit on Craigslist and give it 2 days. If nobody buys it in 2 days, go to step 2. Give it away. If nobody wants it in 2 days, take it to Goodwill. If Goodwill don't take it, immediately drive to the dump. Boom, that's it. You've exhausted all means. If you don't have a lot of time, go to step 4, drive directly to the dump. End of story. That's it. That's how you get rid of that shit. If you're real sentimental, get you a case of beer, some Jack Daniels. It'll help you make those decisions. Now let's watch this quick video, and I'll have to chop it up or else Inside Additional file copyright claim and take all my money.
A house is filling with thick smoke. An elderly man and his wife are trapped inside.
Basically, cops are called to this fire. A fire call goes out. Usually law enforcement is there first, right? Cops go to the door. There's fire, smoke coming out. They try to get the door open. They can't open the door. Like, what the hell is going on? Well, guess what? It's a hoarder house.
But police who rush to the house can't get in. Why? Because it's a hoarder's house. The front door is blocked by piles of junk.
Long story short, the dude used to be a linebacker, I guess, played football, drops his shoulder, 2 or 3 hits on this door, gets it open enough where the old man crawls out.
A brave sergeant trying to get inside turns out to be a former college football star. He uses an old football move with his shoulder to wedge open the door just enough.
They drag him out. One guy goes in there. This is kind of funny because I just did that video about how we had a evacuation over at Green Acres Ranch due to a fire. And I was talking about how when a house fire takes place, very quickly you cannot see inside.
Smoke pours out of the house.
What's in there? I can't see, dude.
You cannot see this far in front of your face. A lot of times the electrical will go out. You can't see anything.
In all the chaos, they spot the man.
Crawl to me. Crawl to me. Crawl to me.
Out of breath, he manages to say, "Get my wife out."
We'll get her out.
And then he locates the old woman, but he says, I can't get her out. This grandfather clock's blocking the way.
You gotta come. Let's go. Come on. She's stuck between that clock. I gotta get this thing out.
So literally, because of all of their crap, these 2 people almost lost their life because rescuers could not even open the front door.
A grandfather clock is blocking the way.
because of all their junk that makes them feel safe and sound and secure. They feel good about themselves, being surrounded by their shit.
First, they must remove it.
No, I got you.
And there she is, pulled to safety just in time, thanks to a former football star and his team.
In this case, their shit almost caused them to burn up in a house fire. That goddamn grandfather clock was literally blocking this woman's way to safety. My favorite part is when the one officer hands it out to the other officer and he doesn't even hesitate. He hands it out.
A grandfather clock is blocking the way. First, they must remove it.
I love it. I'm gonna put that to sound effects and I'm gonna play it over and over throughout this goddamn video. Because that's how much a grandfather clock in any possession like that means to me, this guy, over just spending time with my family, with my kids, cooking, barbecuing, taking the kids to the beach. If you don't have any kids, just you and your old lady. Anything that's preventing you or from making life decisions, or influencing your life decisions. Oh, I gotta move, but this house isn't big enough. All my shit won't fit in there. If you find a house that you like, but it's a little too small, just get rid of some of your shit. Don't go out and look for a bigger house just to put more shit in. Get rid of your shit. So record collection and comic books. Psh, psh, psh. Your 68 Corvette has no value to me. My barbecue grill, while I'm not sentimental nor attached to it, and if I have to move, I'll give it away like that. It's something I use every day. But if I have to move, and we're gonna move and just catch a flight, that barbecue grill gets given away. Let's go. Not wasting or hesitating, wasting any time. Making decisions because of junk. That's my talk, folks. Hope you're at least entertained. Maybe I've inspired somebody out there to take some action. But this big thing of, I built this log cabin made of toothpicks. It took me 18 years. What am I gonna do with it? Don't nobody give a shit about your 3-story log cabin made out of toothpicks that you glued together. Take that shit out in the backyard, sprinkle some charcoal lighter fluid on it, and spark it up. Send me the video clip. I'll include it on one of my shows. Next. I'm living life now. I'm living life today because life is short. If you're listening to this at this point in the video, you're probably older than me. And you're hesitant. You're hesitating. Because of the good towels. I'm the type of guy that these days I use the good towels and I eat on the good china, if I had any. Because what's going to happen is you're going to screw around and die amongst all your things, and then your family's going to throw it in the damn dumpster. See how that works? All right, I'm out of here. That's my rambling talk. Hope you're at least entertained. I'll see y'all on the next one, and peace out.
A grandfather clock is blocking the way. First, they must remove it.
No, I got you.
And there she is,